Yep.
That's weird. I don't have to add them. It tells me how many is there. Is that it's telling you too?
Now I have 12.
There you go.
All right, so we will wait until it's 7 o'clock and then get this ball rolling on our first Zoom webinar.
Woohoo!
Ace Rue has raised his hand.
Why am I not surprised?
I can lower all hands. I have the power.
Throwing up my hands for you.
I can also mute you. All right, well, what do you say we get this ball rolling?
Let's do it.
All right, I am going to share my screen with everybody. All right. So welcome everyone to our first Granite State Cabinetry webinar. This is definitely an experiment for me because it's my first webinar that I'm ever hosted. Normally you guys are in my showroom, but because of the world events right now, we're learning something new. We're learning how to deal with the current situation in a really cool way, because everybody, whether it's kids or adults, we're learning how to do things virtually. So thank you for taking time to join our webinar. Granite State Cabinetry has been around since 1996, and we've been helping people turn their homes into their dreams. And I will start off by telling you guys a little bit about us. Also, before I get into this, this is an interactive webinar. So if you have questions, there's a chat. If you're not familiar with Zoom at all, just feel free to explore it. And you can chat, you can ask questions, you can raise your hand. I can see you guys. And also Sue is my cohort here in this webinar. So we're gonna be bouncing back and forth, and we want it as interactive as possible. So here we go. A little bit about us. Well, we are a locally owned, family-run business. I am second generation ownership with my brother, Pete, who is also maybe on this webinar, I don't know. But my dad bought the business back in 1996, and I've been working here since 1996 on and off, and we are proud second generation family-run business. We are a complete in-house talented design, installation, and project management team. That's a lot of words. What it means essentially is that we can do as little or as much as you want us to do in regards to your kitchen or bath remodel. We have over 100 years of combined kitchen experience and thousands of projects completed since 1996. These pictures that are coming up on screen right now are pictures of our very valuable employees and awesome team members who really make this whole business work so well. We have me, my brother, my sister Mary Ellen, Kathleen, Kelly, Sue, Jackie, Whitney, Linda, Dave, Cliff, and Jeff. Amongst these employees, we have, or in addition to these employees, we have a lot of subcontractors that are out there that have been working for us for years. And when I say years, I mean 25 years or more. We are very much alike. We're similar in personality, and we just kind of have a really good team to get all of these projects completed for you.
Yes, and Frank, just before we get going any further,
Yeah.
if you guys could all practice in the top right-hand side of your screen and allow you to raise your hand. And we're just curious how many people are interested more in kitchen renovations. If you could raise your hands, that'd be great. And if you don't know how to do your raise your hand bar, let us know so we can see who's working on a kitchen project, and then we'll do the same for who's working on a bath project. So if you're working on a kitchen, can we see your hands?
Excellent. So we have Sheila, Denise, Robin, we got Julie, we got Christy. All right, excellent. Thank you. I will lower everyone's hands, and now you can ask the question for baths.
If you're working on a bathroom project, a master bath or a main bath or any other area of your home, if you could raise your hand now.
Denise, Robin, Ellie, Judith. Hi, Judith. Catherine. Hi, Catherine. That's my sister.
Perfect.
Great. Excellent.
All right. That's
Thanks,
helpful.
everybody. And Sue, you want to just talk about the chat, and we can just say hi in the chat just so that we can practice that.
Yeah, part of the Zoom conference that we want to be sure is to make it as interactive as possible. And we're as new to this as you are. We've been working on Zoom maybe for 2 weeks, just with our team meetings. So this is the first time we've actually put it to the test to see if we know what we're doing. So we appreciate you, your understanding, and we'll also hopefully maybe teach you a few techniques as we go. So again, upper right-hand corner, the top more bar where those 3 dots are, if you click on that, you'll see chat, which is the very first tab. If you click on chat, you can then write a note in there to us, and we'll see it, and we'll be sure to check those notes so that throughout the panel, we'll be able to talk about your questions as they come up. Everybody see where that is? Raise your hand if you know where the chat bar is and if you found it okay.
Excellent.
Great. All right, we're off and running, Frank.
Awesome. All right. 21 people. Excellent. That's great. So what we do here at Granite State Cabinetry, we design beautiful living spaces. I'm going to just pause here. This is very much a picture presentation because obviously we're in the kitchen and bathroom business and we love to see kitchens and bathrooms. So I'm going to take the pictures pretty slow so people can take it in. What we do is we design beautiful spaces, and when living spaces, that could be a kitchen, a bathroom, a laundry room, a mud room, a bar, a master closet. I mean, virtually any room in your home could be designed by us. We specify kitchen and bathroom cabinets, countertops, hardware, tile, flooring, and plumbing fixtures. So when I say specify, our designers are trained in design and they understand the products that we are selling and installing in your home. And they have a very good way of putting all of these together to make a beautiful finished kitchen or bathroom. We plan the entire project. So we plan everything. We plan whether you're just having us do cabinets and countertops, or we plan the entire demolition all the way to completion. Whatever you choose, we plan for you. We execute the plan and manage the transformation of your home. That's a key part of our business. We have a project manager for your project. We have a whole team behind him who handles the scheduling, who handles all of the communications between the homeowner, the designer, the customer. Very, very, very much team approached. And finally, at the end, we celebrate the completion of your dream. I want to just say something about this picture. I love this kitchen. I love the Blue Island, and I love that backsplash. That's a beautiful, beautiful kitchen. That's like a modern farmhouse design.
Yeah, and that backsplash, the customer had a little bit of trepidation and she was kind of loving the tile but wasn't sure how she would like it on her backsplash, and literally was calling us when the backsplash was going in to say, I'm so glad I did that backsplash. It was worth it. I'm glad you guys kind of made me, you know, understand my comfort levels. So sometimes you need that little helping hand just to make sure it becomes something that you will really cherish.
Yeah. So I'm going to just touch on our process and how we work. So we begin with an initial consultation, and it's a conversation about your project. This can be done in many, many ways. Today, we're going to do it with a Zoom webinar, but it can be done with FaceTime. It can be done over the phone, or it could be done 6 feet away and social distancing. Our showroom is closed right now until May, but we are very much working and very much talking to new clients at this point. We've had several presentations on Zoom already and several client consultations. What we talk about during this initial consultation is pictures, pictures, and more pictures. We ask you to send us pictures of your existing space, and we also ask you to send us pictures of your dream space. These two screenshots down at the bottom are our house page and our website. And these are some great resources for developing your pictures. Sue, do you want to talk about house real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So many of you may not know what house is, but the easiest way to explain how house works is, I don't know if any of you, when you travel, if you go to TripAdvisor to kind of see what the reviews are for the places that people have already traveled to, how they feel about the destination, the hotel, how they got there, ease of effort once they were there. That's how house works. So house is only folks that are professionals like us can load their work to house, different from Pinterest. So therefore, you're only getting professionals. Everything is to code and kind of by the book. And secondly, some beautiful and amazing spaces. So house is a culmination of everyone who does what Granite State Cabinetry does for work. And we load our work onto house so that the world can see it. And what you're trying to do on house is create an idea book. It's all free. You just go online and fill out a quick questionnaire. And then you start noticing, you'll go into, let's say you're looking for a painted white kitchen with a gray island, and maybe that's your search criteria. You would go on to house, you would search for that, and then you'll obviously see 2,000 or some odd pictures come up. And then you can start refining your search a little bit. You might say with a white perimeter with a black island and black perimeter countertops. So you can refine your search as you go to kind of really target what you're looking for on house. And then you can click on those pictures that you like and transfer them into your idea book. We love it if you give us an idea of why you like that picture. So you might say, I love this cabinet door style, or I love this countertop application, or I love this layout. And what our design team does once you have, cultivated that idea book is you can share that with our designers, and they can now look at that and make all of your pictures become the building blocks to your kitchen. So it's really a collaborative effort to be sure that we are integrating all of your thoughts and your wishes and your dreams along with their ideas of how they think all might integrate well. It's really fun. I end up on house oftentimes when I have insomnia, and I end up with the next day with a long list of projects for myself in my own home. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
Great. So get a house account. It's worth it.
Yes, for sure. And then share it with us.
So after we talk about the pictures, we ask you, how do you want to change your existing space? So there are two ways you can go. You can either keep within the existing walls, or you can expand into other spaces by removing walls. Removing walls today are it's something that we do quite often. These pictures of this kitchen shows a good example of how we removed the wall, and it was a load-bearing wall, so that's why there's a post in the peninsula, but there was a wall there, and it allowed us to take the wall down and open up the space into the living space and create a really nice peninsula to sit at. So a common trend today is to remove the wall between the kitchen and the formal dining room. We see that all the time because people aren't using the formal dining room as much, and they want a bigger space, and they're having a casual table in the kitchen. So that's a big trend for today.
Yeah, and know also, obviously, that beam that exists there doesn't need to exist in all applications. We can always recess a beam, and there's other options too. So if you're thinking about taking down a wall, we kind of explore with you all the options to making sure that that happens for you.
Yeah. So doors and windows, do we add or remove? This picture of this kitchen shows beautiful doors, beautiful windows. You know, it's always a conversation piece. One trend is to remove the slider and keep a door and add a window, or French doors. I see us constantly replacing sliders when we're in the kitchen, or windows over the kitchen sink as well. We enlarge them, we drop them down to the counter. Windows are just, they allow the light in, and we want as much as we possibly can in our designs. We ask you about your style, whether you like a modern kitchen or whether you like a farmhouse style. Modern farmhouse is actually a style as well today, because we have farmhouse, which can be a vintage, or we have a modern farmhouse. Traditional or craftsman. So craftsman on the left, traditional on the right.
So why
And
don't we do go ahead, Frank.
Our most popular style today being transitional. Transitional is a kind of a combination between some modern styles and also some traditional styles. That's where that word came from.
So while we're on transitional, why don't we just get a show of hands just to see who likes transitional style?
Yeah.
And then who likes traditional styles?
Let me lower hands here. When do we do that? Chat. Okay. Excellent. Well, that's so true, because we are definitely seeing more transitional kitchens today. And I would say actually that our showroom has morphed into a transitional showroom, whereas 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, it was all traditional. So definitely seeing transitional take off. But we're also seeing more modern clean designs take off as well. Countertops, we talk about granite, we talk about quartz, we talk about wood. The kitchen on the left has a wood island, very, very trendy today, and it probably will be forever. Wood is warm, it's comfortable to sit at, it's beautiful. The kitchen on the right shows a combination of both quartz on the island and soapstone on the perimeter. So it's always great to combine different textures and colors and surfaces in the same design. We talk about appliances, whether you want a built-in refrigerator, a freestanding refrigerator, any under-counter refrigeration like wine coolers or drawers. Refrigerator drawers are great because you can keep produce in them, or beverages, or you can get a freezer drawer and keep ice cream. We love that they're hidden, and hopefully eliminate that second refrigerator that's either in the basement or in the garage. We talk about your cooking appliances, whether you want a wall oven, and that's a great little coffee maker, I think, above that wall oven. We talk about steam ovens, very, very popular today. We talk about ranges and hoods and ventilation and cooktops. It's all depends on what you want, what you can fit in the space. Plumbing fixtures, sinks are enormous today in terms of their selections and styles and sizes. They have stainless steel undermount sinks. We have apron front sinks that are either fire clay material or stainless material. We talk about faucets. Bridge faucet is a style, a pull down faucet. RO, everybody's concerned about the polluted drinking water. So we have filtered taps for you. Pot fillers are still very popular. Now, there are a ton of details, obviously, Sue, right? I mean, we are here very much as a team to help you through these decisions.
Absolutely. We always, the customer that typically needs our help is the customer who might have a hard time refining their selections, so they like a lot of things, or the customer also who may not like many things and needs us to bring the ideas to them. After our first appointment and the second appointment, we really get to know you well, and we get to know your likes and dislikes. We've typically been to your house by then, and we're able to see your present style. And oftentimes I'll say to a customer, so we know what's happening in the kitchen, and are we gonna keep that table? And she might whisper to me, we're not keeping the table, because her husband doesn't know yet that that table's going. So we really get to know you, and we get to know your likes and dislikes and your preferences. And that allows our design team to do what they do best, to start bringing you some samples, but not everything, so that you never feel overwhelmed. It's very much a collaborative process, but they really do a great job at honing in on some of the things that you've set up to this point. They're great listeners, and they're able just to pick out the right 3 backsplashes so that you only have to choose one of the 3. And the same with the faucet and the sink. There's so many options now, it can really feel cumbersome, but they hold your hand through every step of the process.
Tile backsplashes is a great example. I mean, there are so many choices. It's overwhelming, but really having a professional come in here and narrow it down for you, give you 3 options, that's really what we do. I'm just going to point out a trend here. When people are choosing a stainless hood, we love to tile above that stainless hood and bring the tile right to the ceiling. It's a great look.
Absolutely.
What is driving my project cost? Okay, here's a good car analogy. I love cars. So we have a 2020 Audi A5. This starts at $42,900 if you went in and bought one of these base model. Right next to it is a 2020 Audi RS5. It's the same car, but it's literally almost double in price. These are very similar to each other, but they offer completely distinct differences. You know, whether it's the finishes, the fit, the performance, there's a ton that goes into it that justifies the price increase. $36,000 between those cars. So how this relates to your kitchen is obviously every house is different, and there are existing conditions that vary greatly from house to house. So we look at that, and that affects the cost. Product selections have a tremendous impact on cost. So we offer 4 different brands of cabinetry, and the reason why is because we are trying to offer cabinetry, good quality value cabinetry at all price points. So that's why we offer more than 1 brand. Also, similar projects can vary dramatically in cost. You can look at 2 kitchens and they look very similar, but they can literally be like this Audi example of double the price sometimes. So determining the budget. So I have 2 kitchens here. This one, cabinets, these are, so do you want to take this one over?
Sure.
Okay.
So this is kind of similar to Frank Audi's description in how unknowingly the projects run different budgets. So on the left, you have the gray kitchen, which happens to be a medallion kitchen. It's a perfectly good gray painted cabinet in one of our entry-level lines. This customer came to us with a certain budget in their mind. So it was our job to try to get as much of their wish list achieved within their budget and within their price point. And sometimes people come in with no idea of price point. So we'll touch on how that works as well. But in this kitchen on the left, you see they went with a stainless hood. So that stainless hood is much more reasonable than the picture you see on the right, which is the beautiful wood hood. You see that in the corner above the range. The island is very basic in the gray kitchen and much larger and more elaborate in the white kitchen. The ceiling height between the 2 kitchens, it's probably about 2 feet higher in the kitchen on the right, because you see how elevated all those upper cabinets are. So obviously more cabinetry is needed, more crown molding is needed. To the right and left of the window in the white kitchen, you'll see what we call transom cabinets. That's that top tier of cabinet with the glass inserts. So all of those things add to the price in the right kitchen, not to mention the style and construction. It's actually an inset kitchen. and on the left is a full overlay kitchen. So, excuse me, a frameless kitchen. So that also plays into this. So in that first meeting, to set your mind at ease, we look through your pictures and we talk about your project and kind of how long you're going to be in the house, what your expectations are, kind of ballpark pricing that you might consider if we were to renovate your kitchen based on everything we just discussed. And then secondly, you might say, well, Sue, and this just happened this morning, well, Sue, we're also purchasing a house in Florida. So while I might want to spend $70,000 on this kitchen, I really want to spend more like 40 on this kitchen. So what we then do is make the best use of the budget. And we kind of narrow our field of choices so we're not showing you things that are going to run up the cost of the project. Hopefully that helps.
It does. It does. So what does that price include? So Sue, here, I'll let you take this column and I'll kind of bullet the products.
So oftentimes when we're meeting in the showroom, I'm a big hand talker. Although I'm not Italian, I'm 100% Irish. But I found over time that using the hand scenario makes it easy for people to understand. So 100% of the time, and that's about 350 kitchens a year, we handle the cabinetry, the countertops, sink, faucet, hardware, and the installation. That's what our team does every single day of the week. On the other hand, and we handle this hand probably 65% of the time, we handle the demo and removal of your existing cabinets and countertops. We handle all of the prep for the plumbing, the prep for the electrical, the installed plumbing, installed electrical. We handle the drywall, the flooring installation. Frank mentioned sometimes people choose to change out their kitchen window. We handle the framing of the new window and selecting the window with you. We then talk about painting wallpaper. So this hand can grow depending upon the size of your project. So when we add the two hands together, that is what we do all the time and what's called scope of work. So this right hand construction side is the scope of work. Some customers try to handle their own scope of work on their own, and it's something that many do succeed. They might say, Sue, I already have my own electrician. I already have my own plumber. I probably can paint as long as I'm painting before the cabinets come in. So what's left? And I might say, well, what's left is demo. You know, sometimes people do demo on a weekend with a case of beer and a couple of pizzas. So they end up handling this side on their own. Again, probably 30 to 35% of the time. And then a majority of customers say, oh my gosh, no, I am not a project manager. That is not where my skill set allows me to do. I'm a full-time nurse and I don't ever want to think about calling the plumber or electrician. And that's where we handle both hands. But with our company, we offer you the choice. We can handle everything from soup to nuts, or we can just handle this hand. Hopefully that was clear for everybody. It's a tricky topic.
After we talk about the budget, we move on to the fun part. So this is after our initial consultation. About a week later, our designers spend the full week working on the project. They are designing. Go ahead, Sue.
I think after you finish, we should just pause for questions because we've gone through a lot so far before you get into the design details. Okay. That way we can take some questions and open it up a bit.
Let's see. I'll jump into the chat to see if there's any questions. I don't see any.
If you guys have any questions and you want to go into chat, I know Catherine told me that her chat is at the bottom corner, not the top right. So if anybody has any questions and you want to throw them in there, we'll answer them.
That's a great way to do it. If you want to unmute yourself, I think you have the ability to do that.
Here's Christy. Christy asks,
do you ever go outside of the current home footprint? That's a great question. Granite State Cabinetry does not go outside. When you get to that point, what we do is we refer you, if you don't have a contractor, we refer you to one of our contractors. That's getting into site work and foundations and framing and addition. That's something that we don't do, but we have a great number of builders that do that for us. Good question. All right, so we'll continue on. If you have questions, just chat them away. So after our initial consultation, the next meeting is a design presentation. And this can happen in the showroom when we're open, or it can happen virtually, which we've been doing quite often now, on a Zoom meeting with just you, your husband, wife, family gathered around the laptop or computer, and you're in a Zoom meeting with the designer and Sue, and it's a great way to show what your kitchen will look like. So we start with the storyboard. So the storyboard is what the designer is putting together in specifying all of the products that go into your project. So we have the cabinets, the door styles, the stains, the finishes, the countertops, the hardware, the sink, everything that we spent a lot of time talking about. That's when you kind of get to see it all together. After that, we look at computer renderings. So these are actual computer renderings of a project that we just recently completed. So you're able to see exactly what the new space will look like with the exact products, to include the faucet, the sink, the cabinetry, door styles. I mean, it's pretty amazing what these computers can do today. So this is all the same kitchen. And here's a side view from the family room. So I'm going to show you some before and afters of that exact kitchen that we just looked at in the computer renderings. And this is probably one of my favorite before and afters, because when I saw this, I couldn't believe that this was the actual space. But what a transformation. It's pretty amazing, this one. I love before and afters. We have a whole section on our website dedicated to before and afters. So check those out.
And this customer was so wonderful to work with. You know, she knew that she wanted to work with that honey colored hardware. So we kind of started there because that was one thing she absolutely knew that she wanted. And then we started working with some warm blue colors, and obviously not too bright of a white, but kind of a middle of the road white. And lastly was her backsplash, which after everything was in, she waited to choose that because she didn't want the backsplash to overtake her beautiful new space, and did a beautiful beveled subway. So it really was the icing on the cake.
Love that hardware too.
Yeah. It's fun.
Here's another shot of that. That island is actually a blue. It's a more of a navy blue, but the next picture shows it beautifully. I just want to point out that sink. That's a apron front sink that's made out of fire clay, and that faucet is a gold faucet that matches the gold hardware. So really nice selections. Even the dishware and the picture on the wall and the curtains all tie it together.
Mm-hmm. Looks great.
See how the sun is reflecting off that island. That is a beautiful blue. And that refrigerator has wood panels on it, so it blends right into the cabinetry.
I don't know if you noticed here, but a cool concept is the subway actually goes into the frame of the window. Just to make their kitchen have a little more character.
That window, really quick, that's a picture window. And we don't often see picture windows in front of the sink. We usually see casement windows, which are the crank out windows. The picture window allows just a full light access, and there's no mullions to get in the way. And it's dropped down right to the counter. So the granite actually goes right out into the window and is the windowsill. So very nice.
Looks great.
These are before and afters of the same kitchen. So I love this transformation. This is a really, really good one. So I'm gonna start at the top left and then go down. So you see on the top left, there's a island, obviously, a small little island sitting under this little tiny light. Well, that's like their prep island. And further back, you see the microwave over the range. And then you see the refrigerator on the right-hand side. Well, where that wall is, that the microwave is on, is gone in the bottom picture. And it actually just extends all the way down to the other end of the house. So the middle picture shows the microwave, and then the bottom middle picture shows the wall gone completely. You can see where the wall ovens were and the refrigerator were. We still kept the refrigerator and wall ovens there, but they obviously changed. The refrigerator grew quite large, and there's another island down near the range top. So like I said before, taking walls down just creates so much more usable space. This is a great one. So how long does this take? So our full kitchen or bath remodels typically take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Now it all depends on the scope of work and the construction and how much is actually happening. We're not in your house every single day for 8 weeks. There are some times that we're waiting for granite to be installed, or there are some lag times. We're waiting for drywall mud to dry or paint to dry. But what we're doing is we're constantly staying up to date with you. We're setting up a temporary kitchen for your family to use in a separate room. That's really important because obviously if you're living in a house with a family for 8 weeks, especially as we all know today, it's not easy to do. And we want to make it as easy as possible for you. We always protect the home with zip walls that seals off the work area to the living area, and also your temporary kitchen. We use HEPA filters, we use flooring protection. And today, obviously, we're taking even more care, making sure all the guys are properly dressed and equipped to go into a house with and complete their work. That is wrapping it up. And we kind of took you through the process of of how we get you to the point of getting ready to order your kitchen. Do you want to add anything, Sue?
Yeah, so I guess if I were attending this seminar, I'd wonder what the next steps were. So I am, Granite State Cabinetry's phone number rings at my home, but I'd rather share with you my home number so you can stop the step of calling Granite State Cabinetry to be transferred here. So my home number is 262-9262, and that's area code 603, and I will help you get the party started. So we would have a phone conversation. I've had, I think, 4 today talking about new projects. I start just by taking down your contact information, and then if you're able to send me pictures while we're talking, we're able to go right into it and have the appointment that Frank said we typically have in the showroom. And then our next step is after we talk about budgets and where you want to be and what we're thinking we might be at, we then get one of our design team working on a new design for you. And we do a lot virtually. We can even walk you through the showroom virtually. So if you're interested in planning that next appointment, feel free to just call me at my home number, and we can literally get the ball rolling. If anybody has any questions at this point, we're more than happy to spend as much time as we want on either questions that pertain specifically to your project, or if everybody wants to just write in chat any of their questions. We want to make sure we're covering everything you intended.
Let's check chat. Sue, why don't you, here, I'll put your phone number in chat. What was it?
603-262.
What's your home phone?
262.
Yeah.
9262.
Got it. All right. And I'll put your email as well.
That'd be great. And I don't have any little ones. I only have big kids. So you can pretty much call me anytime and we can get the ball rolling.
Great. Awesome. Well, I hope everybody had a great experience with the webinar. We'll probably do this again. So if there's any friends that you want to, or spouses or other people that you're interested in sharing this with, we'll probably do this next week as well.
Yeah, and to Frank's email and my email, easy to remember. Frank's is fmorris@gscabinetry.com, and mine is scannon@gscabinetry.com. So too, if you have any suggestions for us of how we can improve, we'd love to hear from you as well.
Perfect.
All right, great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.